All right. There is, and I know I've said this before, but there is a very specific process to graphic design. Yes.
Okay. Just gonna sit up.
Why? Huh? Oh my gosh. Sit in all you want, dude. That's good. Alright, so process to success. I've been over this many times, but we're going to talk about it in detail. Wow, really? That worked well. Alright. Define the task. What kind of business is it? What kind of event is it? In the case of yesterday, it was a musical. Okay? What should the finished product be? The finished product was a logo and 2 images. It said it. Reading is fundamental. That's where we define the task. If we do not read, if we skim the information, we're not going to get it right. Okay? It's not going to work right. What format? That's important. How is your document going to be saved? I stated everything should be done in Illustrator, yet I still got Photoshop stuff. Okay? What materials? What's it going to be printed on? Is it going to be for the computer only? Is it going to be for paper? Is it going to be for a poster? In this case, the materials will be used on a poster and advertising media. But some of you made a poster. I did not ask for a poster. What size? The specification said that whatever you did was supposed to be on 8.5 by 11. That was not my specs, that was his specs. I don't agree with those specs, but that's what he wanted. He wanted everything. The heck?
Wasn't me.
Why did it stop recording? Oh, it didn't. It just, I must have hit a button. Okay, great. Now I'm going to have to edit that. All right. So, does that mean that your logo did that mean that your logo had to be 8.5 by 11? No. That's just the page size that they wanted. Okay? How many colors? In this case, I said there was no limit on colors. Now, some of you gave me images. But if I specified Illustrator, images shouldn't have been used. Okay? Illustrator does not work with images. What works with images? Photoshop. Illustrator works with elements, vector designs. Okay? Not photographs. Photographs in Illustrator are a no-no. Period. Okay? If I ask it to be done in Illustrator, that means it's vector art only. That means if you used an image, you were to use a silhouette. You were to create a silhouette of that image. Not literally vectorize an image. It will look like crap. Really? This is just working so well. Research. Understand your client. Who was your client? Mr. Shea. Okay, he wrote out in that paragraph everything he wanted. Who's your target audience for the Footloose thing? High school teens or anybody that might go to this show. Okay? Gather your ideas and notes. How many of you actually researched the movie Footloose? If you saw the movie, then you've done some research. Okay. How many of you used a foot in your design? How many of you used a foot but are not raising your hand because you don't want to be embarrassed? Good answer. Now, Footloose is not about foot. It has nothing to do with your feet. Yeah, feet. Here's the thing. Footloose had a deeper meaning, and that's what you need to look for. That's why you do your research. If you don't do the research, your logo or your design is going to turn out caca poo poo. Okay? Make notes during your research. This is a big step. You will spend more time, you should spend more time on this part than any other part of your design. You should spend more time here than anywhere else. Even the computer. The computer should be the least amount of time you spend on a design. Check out other examples. I had this big book of logos sitting out here with hundreds of logos in it. How many of you actually grabbed it and looked at it? I can count it on one hand. It's not good. How many of you looked online at other examples? How many of you didn't even look at all? Of course, you're not raising your hand, but I know you exist. All right. Thumbnails done on paper. Create several quick sketches. I tell you to do 5. In reality, anytime I do a piece that I've not been given, this is supposed to be here, this is supposed to be here, I've done 50. And you know why? Because I spend less than a minute on each one. Thumbnails are like brainstorming. Don't waste time on them. You do quick sketches. Less than a minute on each. Everybody whines about thumbnails. I asked for 5. How many minutes is that of your time? 5. 5 minutes. That's it. No time at all. All you have to do is make sure you have the main elements in there. Think about your imagery, your typeface, and your illustrations. Stick figures work. A box that says image here works. It's just a rough idea. Very rough. Quick. Done. Thumbnails. You should do 10. You should do 20. You should do 50. Okay? Some of you took the Footloose logo that already existed and just did it. That's not what we wanted. I didn't count off for that because we needed to have this discussion. Son of a dog. Rough. Done on paper. This should be the second most extensive part of the design. First being research, second being your rough. You combine elements from your thumbnails. Ooh, I like that. I like the way that thumbnail looks, but I like the element in this one better. Okay? Create a rough at full size or close to it. Now, if you're doing a banner that is 3 feet wide by 7 feet tall, you're definitely not going to do it full size. Okay? But you can get an idea of it. But if it's anything smaller than a piece of paper, do it at full size. Spend a lot Uptime, redefining your design. You might have to do multiple roughs to get it there. By the time you're done with your rough, all you have to do is just recreate it in the computer. Period. You shouldn't be designing on the computer, ever. You revise on the computer. But the rough is where you do all of your design work. You redefine it. You do it until you get it exactly the way you want it. Again, you'll spend more time on this than anything else except what? Research. Now, after all of that work, which, if I give you 5 days on a project, that should be probably 2 to 3 days worth of work. On paper, you haven't even touched the computer except to do research. You develop your roughs, build it full size, be precise, and this is the least amount of time you will spend during your work. The computer is the least. If you are designing on the computer, you're doing it wrong. Those of you moving into the second year, this will be extremely important. Those of you who've decided that you might like this as a career, you had better get down the habit now of doing it correctly. Because if you do not, it will bite you over and over again, and your jobs will be, actually, you'll probably get fired. Okay? Research. Research, research. Computer. Graphic design has been around a lot longer than computers have. A lot longer. We're talking hundreds of years longer. From the first time you've ever seen a poster drawn, or an illustration in a book, or a book, that's still graphic design. Computers have just, in the past couple of decades, come into their own in graphic design. It's not about the computer. It's about the design. Next process, after you have done it on the computer, get feedback. Now this could be getting feedback from a client, but before you do that, present it to your peers, your work peers, you. Go to somebody next to you, say, hey, can you take a look at this? In my SEC class on graphic design, I make sure that people talk to each other, to bounce ideas off of each other. They have to. Be prepared to get critiqued. Your design will never be perfect. Somebody will always find something wrong with it. If somebody asks your opinion, be honest. Graphic design is not about dancing around the tulips. It's about being honest. Don't take it personally. Every time I tell you I don't like something, it's not personal. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with me and the person next to you helping you build that design. Revise and present new concepts to peers. Okay? Make the revisions they suggest. Sometimes they won't work. Save your original work. You may have to go back to it. Don't just write over it. Make a new document. Every time I revise a design, I make a new document because sometimes that revision doesn't work. Okay? It's got to be perfect before you send it to the client or it's close to. Now your client may tear it to pieces. And it happens. And it has happened. The most wonderful feeling in your heart will be that one. I think it's happened to me 3 times in 20 years that I sent a piece to a client with no changes. 3 times. And that is unusual for any graphic designer to get that. Because a client will always find something wrong or they'll always make a revision. Finalize. Once everybody is happy with it, finalize your design. Know what format the final files need to be in. What format did I want the files in? Illustrator. Prepare the files for print. You don't know exactly how to do that yet, and that wouldn't come up until 3rd year. But there's a process for preparing your files to go to a printer. All right, any questions? It's very important that you follow these steps. Now, I'm going to put this online and share it with you. I'm going to share the lecture with you. So what I want you to do is I want you to start thinking of a t-shirt idea. Okay, we're going to do another t-shirt just for fun. The only problem is I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. Okay? I'm going to give you a few choices that you can choose from. Give me a few minutes to get that set up, but get ready to start thinking about your design. You already know. What do you already know? What do you know? It's t-shirt. Okay? Can you come up with colors right now? No. Why not? You don't know who your target audience is. You don't know anything about that t-shirt except it's t-shirt. What can you do right now? No. You could be drawing miniature t-shirts for your thumbnails and getting ready for that. Okay? All right, start drawing your t-shirts.
So what's up? I need to get them.
Well, I dropped out of high school, taking a GED, and I enrolled in SCC. So that's been me recently.